Good afternoon to you, Nzinga, and to our viewers at home. It's noon, and indeed we've arrived at Madiba Street. This is outside the office of the Department of Finance, Treasury. This is where those Cosatu, Fedusa and SABC workers will this afternoon submit their memorandum of demands in rejection, of course, of that 3% wage increment that was presented by government. They're saying that is nothing that is going to work for them. For some of them, it has already kicked in, backdated to 8 months, and they're saying that it's close to nothing. They are, of course, still steadfast and adamant this afternoon in calling Nzinga for a 10% wage increment, as steadfast, saying that government can afford that 10% wage increment, saying that the cost of living has been too high, and it's been about 2 to 3 years where public sector workers have not received any wage increment. They are, of course, Cosatu members joined here this afternoon by their federation, their member affiliate, or their federation, their partner federation, or their partner tripartite alliance, this being the SACP. This afternoon, we've seen the General Secretary, Mr. Soli Mapaila, just brave the streets of Tshwane this afternoon, the morning going into the afternoon, to form part of this demonstration here. Of course, just sending a strong message to government that they are not going to accept anything that is less inflation. They are saying that united they shall continue with this, and warning there. You heard from Mike Shingange from Cosatu earlier on, warning that there's more that will follow if government does not adhere to those demands that they have on their memorandum that will be submitted this afternoon. I'm going to bring into the conversation now Mr. Solima Paila from the SACP, who joins us now just to let us in on your role here as the SACP. We know that you're a part of the tripartite alliance with Cosatu, and meaning that these members that are demonstrating here are also essentially your members as well. We saw you brave the streets here, just making sure that you send a strong message to the government that indeed they need to do right by the workers. Welcome to the SABC.
Thank you very much. We are here to support the workers in their demands. Firstly, we want to thank the workers for uniting themselves across federations and unions to come together to fight for their rights and the rights of their families. And secondly is that we support their demands. The integrities of those demands, they must negotiate with government, but we fundamentally support their demands and call for government to respect collective bargaining processes, because government has reneged on agreement with workers, and they have caused crisis in the collective bargaining, particularly in the industrial sector, because the government that should lead this process has undermined collective bargaining. So we are here to say to the workers, fight for your rights, irrespective of who is in government, and we call on government to respect the rights of workers and not to undermine that. And this in particular, where we are at the Treasury, it's an instrument that has been used by big capital in this country and international capital to serve its interests as opposed to serving the interests of our workers. Workers are living currently in a crisis. We've got a high inflation rate. They are working poor workers in this country. The minimum wage, the basic wage that they receive can't even make them survive. It's a crisis. And for the government that doesn't respond to this crisis faced by the workers who are working poor in our country is just unacceptable. And that's why we're supporting these demands of workers, so that government should also send a clear message across all sectors, including to the industry, that workers' rights must be protected. But we're seeing a right-wing turn by government, which we want to condemn in the strongest ways possible. That when you see a government that doesn't respect the rights of workers, we will lose the working class. And the foundation of any revolution is the working class. That is why we are here to say, workers, this basic unity that we have demonstrated must be built into a momentum for ultimate people's power, workers' power in this country. Workers are the creators of wealth. All wealth of society is created by workers. Even when you can bring in technology and so forth, technology is an outcome of workers' labor. And therefore, the respect for workers is fundamental for us as communists. And that's why we'll never accept any other government that undermines the rights and collective rights of workers.
Mr. Solima Paila, thank you very much, sir, for your time. It's coming through from the SACP, just letting us in on their role here. We saw them marching, and they are, of course, just inching closer to the submission of that memorandum of demands that we understand will be accepted by the Finance Minister, Enoch Godongwana, this afternoon. Nzinga.